Hello everyone, I'm Jim Longworth and welcome to another edition of Triad Today as we come to you once again from the beautiful Senior Botanical Garden in Kernersville, which we hope you'll visit. Come on out and social distance yourself and enjoy the beautiful blooming tulips and daffodils and everything. Coming up later on in the program, our infamous round table will discuss all sorts of controversial issues. We'll talk with two gentlemen who are celebrating a big anniversary on behalf of the whole community, and we'll learn more about the Girl Scouts. All that's coming your way, but first, let's turn our attention to COVID-19. We have on this show over the last 8 or 9 weeks talked about this many times in many ways. But this time, let's look at it from a different angle and maybe how you can get involved to help us learn more about COVID. With me now is a very special guest, Dr. Gregory Burke, first-time visitor to the show. He's a Chief Science Officer for Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center. Welcome to you, sir.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, Jim.
How and why is Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center involved with COVID-related studies? Because I hadn't heard about this until you sent me the email.
So up until about 2 months ago, we weren't involved with COVID studies. We had a vibrant research group that was really thinking about how do we prevent the major causes of death and disability. We were a cancer-focused group, a cardiovascular-focused group. We were interested in trying to determine how do we reduce burden from Alzheimer's. We had a strong regenerative medicine group. But up until the time when COVID hit, and we forget that our lives were very different 10 weeks ago.
Right.
That research group looked at it and said, you know, we need to step up and we need to try to find ways to better understand this disease, better treat this disease, and to really better prevent it from having the negative outcomes that we're concerned about.
Right.
So
do you break up, and I don't know anything about this, so you'll have to educate me. I mean, do you break up into groups? Are there more than one study? What kind of specific studies are you?
Yes, right now we have a little more than 30 ongoing COVID-19 studies. And what happens is you have folks whose research fits different parts of it. There are folks who really understand the cellular mechanism and how does COVID-19 get into the cell. There are folks who are thinking about how do we best treat it. And there are therapeutic trials that we're doing. There are people who say we need to understand how prevalent it is in our community. And so these are people who were previously doing similar work that moved quickly over to really understand more about COVID-19.
Give me an example of one of the studies that may help a layperson like me learn more about COVID-19. I mean, because a lot of this is going to be way over my head and it's clinical. Give me an example of how I can learn something from this.
So there's a couple. One is everyone tends to be interested to say, if I got COVID-19, what are the therapies for it? And so we're doing a couple of trials. One, we're doing some antiviral trials to see if these antivirals will work on COVID-19.
Right.
We're doing, most folks have heard of hydroxychloroquine.
Right.
We're doing hydroxychloroquine trials to really see if you randomize people to getting it or not, whether it has a positive benefit.
So I can actually go, and my neighbors and friends and I, we can participate in some of these, right?
You can. The one that I think makes the most sense for people to get involved with is a community survey. So what we're interested in is to understand how prevalent COVID-19 is in the community. Now you recognize that some people have COVID-19 and with no symptoms, and other folks have COVID-19 and go to the hospital.
Right.
So what we're doing is we're doing a survey of this, basically the state. So working with our colleagues at Atrium in Charlotte, we're working with Wake Med in the Triangle, with New Hanover in Wilmington. So it's an opportunity for folks to be involved in. Now the study involves being willing to fill out a questionnaire of symptoms, because
Sure.
you want to know, do they have symptoms that you would expect to be COVID-19?
Right.
And in a subset of folks, there's a finger stick test which gets at some of the antibodies. So if somebody So,
Right, so I'm going to put this up on screen because if we want to participate in this, and I think this is great what you're doing, wakehealth.edu/be involved, and they can click through to get to what, the questionnaire part?
they can understand about the study because it's a research study.
Right.
Fill out a consent form, and then they'll be able to fill out those forms, the questionnaires on their phone or their tablets or
And
something.
we're going to end up helping you help us, right?
Well, we're going to help everybody. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the whole purpose of what we do, is make people healthier.
Dr. Burke, thanks for everything you're doing. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for pleasure
Right.
to be here.
We'll be right back. Triad Today. I always like it when we can get one of the folks from Girl Scouts to drop by and let us know what's going on, and we have done that right now. We have a first-time visitor to the show. Next to me is Ann Watkins, who's Chief Philanthropy Officer for Girl Scouts, Carolina's Peaks to Piedmont, and we welcome you to the program.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
First, just remind us very quickly, Ann, I mean, how many girls are we talking about are, in this area, the Girl Scouts, and what kind of area you serve?
Girl Scouts Carolina's Peaks to Piedmont serves 40 counties in western and central North Carolina, so we're about half the state. And we serve close to 10,000 girls, and we have approximately 6,000 adult volunteers who help us with that.
All doing a great job, too. I just think you guys do a great job. Now, let's talk about something that you emailed me about, which is called Cookies for Courage. What is that, and how did it come about?
Cookies for Courage is a special appeal that we designed just in response to the pandemic, shutdowns and that sort of thing. Most people are aware of the Girl Scout cookie sale. This got interrupted for us.
Right.
And that is the way girls fund their activities. Many of them fund community service projects through the sale of cookies and that sort of thing.
And it's a person-to-person thing. That's part of the whole tradition, is being able to get close to people and sell the cookies, and they couldn't do that, so.
And they couldn't do that, so we decided to do a sort of public virtual appeal for people to donate to help subsidize the troops' cost in the cookies. The troops don't get those cookies for free.
Right.
So this was to underwrite the cost of the girls' work, to enable them to have some funds when they can start picking up those activities
Sure.
again and do that. That's the point of Cookies for
Right.
Courage.
And I
And it
think that
ends May 31st.
May 31st. And I think, am I dreaming this? Or also, I could go online or something and make a donation, and you can help get those cookies to the troops, like the overseas or whatever. Is that right?
Last year we sent close to 40,000 boxes of cookies to troops overseas, and that's an ongoing thing. This effort was to help hometown heroes, and when you donated to Cookies for Courage, the troops would decide which hometown heroes the cookies were going to go to, and they've gone to post office, all kinds of hospitals and clinics, police, firefighters, anybody that's on the front
Who are
lines.
really local heroes. What about summer camps? People have been asking me, what do you hear about these summer camps? Is it going to happen or what?
It is going to happen, but not the way you might think. We have 2 months of camp programming planned. In June, it's going to be completely virtual, where girls go on screen twice a day for 3 days a week, and they'll have camp counselors talk to them and give them activities and challenge them in some typical camp programs. And that's available. It opened up yesterday for people to register. We wanted to give our already registered campers a chance to sign up first, but it's now open to the public for registration.
Right. The regular kind of camp, is it still possible that, we'll put that up in just a second.
CampLikeAGirl.org.
Yeah, I have bad eyesight. I can't read that from here. So we're social distancing. I think it says something, but I'm not, no, we'll put that up. But actually going out and doing physical activities and stuff, are we still sort of waiting to see how that goes for later on in the year, or?
Yes, now for the month of July, we have made plans to do site-specific virtual programming. So in each of our 3 camps, you could see your counselor on screen at the camp that you chose to go to, and the counselors will lead you, and this is 5 days a week, through camp activities. You'll take breaks and go do the activities, and then you'll come back.
Okay.
And it'll be the same people all the time, so you get the same
Okay.
friendship bonds and camp traditions.
Now let me grab this card here you were looking at, because now I can see it. Camp Like a Girl. I'm going to put a couple things up on screen very quickly. GirlScoutsP2P.org. That's Carolina's Peaks to Piedmont. Please check that out. And www.camplikeagirl.org, which tells you all about the camping activities. And to Ann Watkins, who's not only Chief Philanthropy Officer, but she's a veteran Girl Scout herself. I appreciate all you do in these difficult times and trying to keep things going. Thanks for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. We're glad to be able to say that Girl Scouts is not canceled. We are still going strong.
There's still a lot of Girl Scouts out there.
Yep.
All right, we'll be right back after this. Triad Today, always glad we can have some of the good folks from Alamance Community College stop by the studio and tell us what's going on at the college and all sorts of great things, helping people prepare for great careers. And let's meet a very special guest who's been with us before. We're so glad to have him back. Justin Snyder is Dean of the Industrial Technologies Division at Alamance Community College. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You and I have talked before about the growing number of baby boomers who are retiring now from, they're my age, 150. They're retiring now from trade jobs across the state. Remind us of how that is affecting and maybe creating what you refer to as a skills gap.
Yes, so we have an absolute challenge in the industry, locally, statewide, and nationally, to fill those jobs of those baby boomers. So we've got individuals that have been working in these careers in the trades for 20, 30 plus years, and now they're retiring. So we've got to find someone to come in, take their place, and not only that, the technology is continuing to change. So they've got to have new skills as they enter into that workforce.
Well, Justin, is there any one particular job category or job categories that are affected most by this so-called skills gap?
So manufacturing is where we see a lot of this. North Carolina itself ranks 4th in the nation in manufacturing. And really one of those key components of manufacturing that typically gets overlooked is machining. With machining, we're looking at subtractive manufacturing, fixing parts on equipment when they break. There's really a machinist typically in all of our big manufacturing companies. And we're finding it really difficult to replace those guys as they're retired.
Now tell me about there was an email that you sent me. It said computer integrated machining. What's that program all about?
So that program is a combination of blueprint reading, some mechatronics, some computer-aided drafting. It's taking our computer numeric controlled machines, or CNC machines, and taking parts and pieces of metal and creating those parts that run those machines. So we're seeing it in aerospace manufacturing, we're seeing it in cars, you see it in all the different parts of manufacturing, textiles. Machining is one of those things that our instructor likes to say, without machining, everything that we experience we wouldn't be able to use.
And we didn't rehearse this, but I'm just curious. I mean, it seems like this is pretty technical stuff too, and you want to have somebody involved in the program, you want students. Should they come to you with pretty good computer skills or a knowledge of science or whatever, or what do you think?
So we want to see someone that likes to work with their hands, but they need a good basic understanding of some math. Really that math skill is key. As you're developing programs and writing programs, you need those math skills. But someone that likes to work and create, likes to see something made. It's a different part every day in many cases.
All right. Now, so that sort of goes with the thing of what areas of education and what kinds of technology that the machining is going to touch on. So it's sort of broad-based and encompasses a lot of things, right?
Mm-hmm. It does.
Now, what else are you doing to address that skills gap?
So one of the things we've seen a lot of success with in Alamance County is apprenticeship. So we're going out into the high schools and we're encouraging those individuals to look at apprenticeship. So go to school and earn while they learn. The challenge is a lot of folks don't understand what machining is. So if we get out in those schools, we're talking to those students, their counselors, their teachers, and we're explaining to them what those manufacturing jobs look like. They're able to go out and visit the companies. We've got partnerships with 11 different companies in Alamance County that are hiring those students.
Right in the county that are doing it with you.
Yep.
Because it looks, not to indict anybody, but I think that there's been a lot of companies over the last 10 years or so that said, look, I'm not going to get into this apprenticeship thing, it's too involved or whatever. I mean, that's kind of been the case. So you're sort of reviving this thing, aren't you?
Right, so the advantage of an apprentice is that student's able to learn and get the education, learn the on-the-job skills, but we see a retention rate with those companies that's much higher than someone they hire off the street. So it's a little bit of investment now, but looking for the long term, and those companies are seeing a lot of success.
I know when we were talking with Bridget last month about some of the medical fields and training, histotechnology, that kind of thing, one of the great things was that folks seem to leave Alamance Community College and get a job pretty quickly. Is that going to be sort of the same thing year after year?
Most completely. We don't have enough students graduating these programs to fill the jobs we have. Every single day we're getting phone calls from companies looking for students to enter these jobs, and we just don't have enough students.
All right, well, we're going to fill these jobs too. You guys do such a great job. Up on screen, www.alamancecc.edu, alamancecc.edu for more information on that. Justin Snyder, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate you coming.
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll be right back after this. On Triad Today, always glad when these two gentlemen can visit the program, and especially on this edition because we're going to talk about a special anniversary. And let's meet them right now. Of course, you know, on my right, David Daggett, attorney with Daggett Schuler, and social distancing himself back behind us, our buddy Griff Schuler, attorney with Daggett Schuler. Welcome, guys. Good to have you.
Hey, Jim.
David, let me start with you. This is a special anniversary for Safe Sober Prom Night. We talked about that on the show before, but not the anniversary. When and how did it get started?
Yeah, it's amazing. 30 years of Safe Sober Prom Night. I was 30 years old when we started the program. And what got it started was, as a young lawyer, I saw two sides of tragedy. I saw a young person who one night in a mistake really ruined the rest of their life, not only for them, but there's a wave of harm that happens to the family and everybody else. Then on the other side, saw lives shattered and same waves going through that family. And I was young, idealistic. I didn't see businesses out there personally doing things.
Right.
People would give a check or they'd do some money, but they wouldn't invest in themselves. And that has been one of the hallmarks of the Safe Sober Prom Night program.
Right.
We go to 50 high schools. Last year, I was at every single one, and I think Griff was at 46 of them.
And with the message of don't drink and drive, and I just think that that's great. I know you guys give out T-shirts each year. We had the designer of that on a few weeks ago. Griff, what do you think has kept this campaign alive and so popular for so long?
Well, I'll embarrass David real quick. I mean, obviously David's passion and his direction in the program has been invaluable for 30 years. You don't keep something going 30 years without proper leadership. So that's huge. But I think also it's a real testament to you, Jim. Community people that are willing, like you, to put a spotlight on the program, to support the students is very important. And I think really just the whole idea of the community coming together is kept the program going on. When you think about at the individual schools, you have the administrators, you have the principals, assistant principals, the teachers, and then of course the students themselves. I know one of the things David and I love is going to the schools and seeing the principals, the assistant principals, and the teachers putting on the t-shirts themselves and supporting the students. So it's really everybody coming together as a community to support the students that's really kept it going.
And David, we mentioned before, now this is the 30-year anniversary for the program. Didn't have a lot of proms, actual proms this year. How did you adapt very quickly?
Well, what we're doing is we have adapted quickly. We've been at several schools already for graduation cap and gown pickup. The schools are having virtual graduations with drive-in pickup diplomas. We're already making arrangements to be at quite a number of schools. You forgot the cafeteria workers and support staff.
Oh, yeah.
I got an email this morning from some cafeteria workers saying, "Are you still going to get me my t-shirt?" I said, absolutely. The program has become a program of leadership, guidance, and direction for young people. It's more than just the t-shirt that they wear as a badge of honor. It's something that they've bought into, and they come in masses, and they look forward to it every year.
And Griff, before time gets away from us, I just want to remind people, because there's a lot of happy stuff to talk about and congratulate you guys, but drinking and driving among teens is still a problem, and that's why this message is still important, right?
Yeah, it's vital. And David and I have always said, you know, the program is really beyond just prom. It's about trying to help the students make good decisions, set up habits that they can use for later on, particularly as they go off to college and they have other opportunities where they're going to be presented with alcohol. You know, it's something that's it's vital important to bring those habits in line very early on.
Right. Final thoughts, Dave.
Well, it's leadership, guidance, and direction. We're going to continue. We're so proud of our young people. Positive peer pressure is the most powerful force there is. They've bought into it, and we are glad to support them.
Up on screen, the website. Please check this out, daggettschulerlaw.com, or you can call 724-1234 for if you need help with some legal matters. And of course, they're there for that, but they also do so many great things in the community. Check that out as well. I congratulate both of you for all you do for so many people. Seriously, we kid around a lot here on the show, but you guys are really tops. I appreciate what you do.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks for having us.
All right, we'll be right back after this. Triad Today, just about time for the roundtable, but another reminder that we are here, still here at the beautiful Senior Botanical Garden, where you can social distance yourself to your heart's desire. Go out there and enjoy the garden. And we're actually in the Welcome Center. The gift shop's open. You can't tell how big this Welcome Center is just by looking at us, but this is where you have wedding reception and business luncheons, and check that out. SeniorBotanicalGarden.org. Also pick up your copy of Yes Weekly if you would. It is just a beautiful paper, as is Ogie Overman is beautiful. He's sitting there. Ogie's about to rob a bank, which is why he has the mask on.
I'm making a fashion statement. I don't want to be politically correct,
That's
Jim.
right, right. Now that was specially made for you, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Okay, all right. Do you want to mention who made it?
Katrina Blows,
Okay.
my friend Katrina,
All
made
right.
this for me.
Ogie Overman. And then back behind us, the beautiful and talented, stern, tough taskmaster Rhonda Fox, who has been a congressional chief of staff and is an attorney from Greensboro, and Keith Granberry rounding out the group. Guys and gals, Governor Cooper has finally allowed restaurants to open if they do the 50% rule and all that. But the bars and gyms are still closed. The bar folks are upset. Are you okay with Cooper's decision? Quickly, Ogie.
Well, they probably have a point, but the problem with it, and they made an exemption for breweries. Joy Mongers would pack to the gills Friday night. Ace Speedway, we assumed that people would use common sense, social distancing, do the right thing.
They don't.
They don't. People are stupid.
Rhonda.
I'm okay with it. I'm a gym rat. I'm in the gym 6 days a week, but there is no way in the world I would go to a gym right now just because of the health issues with that. So I support it fully. I think we have to put people first.
But you can have 10 people in a bar, but they won't let them open, Keith.
I don't think people should open up, that a bar should be open right now. When you start drinking, people start wanting to socialize. That's why you go to bars, to socialize. And at this point, I don't think it's safe to have that happen, and then this virus thing to flare up, and then we have additional issues.
All right, let's talk about politics and the pandemic. As you know, keeping up in the news, President Trump has threatened Governor Cooper that he might pull the Republican National Convention out of Charlotte if Cooper doesn't let him just fill up the halls there in Charlotte. But let's go beyond that. The fact is, Trump, it's going to be a coronation anyway. Trump's already been decided. Should the RNC just say, look, I don't care what the controversy is, we really don't need a convention, and just call it off no matter what? Ogie, what are your thoughts?
I heard a good idea, really. They should just get a cruise ship, park it off the coast of Mar-a-Lago, and have the thing on a cruise ship.
Well, that's true.
Problem solved.
Yeah, Keith would go.
Why not have it at Mar-a-Lago?
That's right. Rhonda, what do you think about just canceling conventions? And maybe that even applies to Joe Biden's Democratic convention. What do you think?
As a political operative, I'm well aware you cannot cancel conventions. They have to actually do the work of their party. But the question is, in this digital age, why can't you do it online? Why can't it be virtual? Why can't it be with social distancing? It doesn't need to be the full kit and caboodle, the coronation of Donald Trump. That's ego over people. That's why he's not the best for us.
And you can tell, and like you said, even with the Democratic convention, you're saying they have a lot of business that has to be conducted. All right, Keith.
Yeah, I think that conventions and social distancing does not go together. Those two words don't go together. People are coming to the convention to socialize, meet, and greet. So I don't think it's plausible to have a constructive convention if you're talking about social distancing. It's impossible.
You think it'll put people at risk?
Totally.
All right, the University of California will no longer use SAT scores as a benchmark for admission, saying the tests are unfair to poor and minority students. We didn't have a lot of money when I was growing up, and I'm not a minority, but I tell you, I had trouble with the SAT, and there are a lot of people that have trouble with those tests, and I'm glad to see this happen, but you don't care about my opinion. What I want to ask you guys is, do you think all colleges should follow their lead, and should, in fact, we put more weight on high school grades and attendance and stuff? What do you think, Ogie?
Well, I think SAT needs to be in there somehow, maybe weighted less, or even better, make it more equitable for all students. Somehow there's got to be a way for smart people to make that test equitable for everybody.
I took it. You had to take it too. But no, realities are, I think that there are biases attached to the standardized test. We haven't figured out how to level that out. And so the question is, how can we level the playing field? But you cannot have a patchwork approach. It can't be one school says yes, one school says no.
Right.
You got to make that universal. But yes, we should get rid of those tests and find other measures and metrics by which to hold students.
Mr. Granberry.
Well, I think one measure would be that they actually provide funding for some of these schools so that poor minority kids would actually have a quality education on par with the schools that have funding. and then the SAT would be equitable. But right now, the SAT is not equitable. It's not fair, and I think you should do away with it. But I think we need to provide more funding for schools.
Winston-Salem Forsyth County School Superintendent Dr. Angela Hairston, who we hope to have on the show soon, wants to allocate $1.6 million to hire unarmed campus security associates who can help prevent crimes from happening. Now, they can't make arrests. This would be in addition to the SROs. Very quickly, guys and gals, is that a good idea or a waste of money, Yogi?
I think it's a great way to spend a dime now to save $1 on the back end. Yes, I like it. I like that idea.
Ms. Fox?
It's a great idea. We need more community policing.
Keith?
I think it's a terrible idea. Unarmed?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, what are they going to do? I mean, these kids are coming to school. If they're coming to school and creating crime, they actually are armed. I think we need to have people, especially in these city schools, that can provide real protection, if that's what we're doing.
Hopefully the SROs would be there, but anyway. Okay, we're almost out of time, so I want to do this. A Virginia couple recently found a bag lying on the highway, which they picked up, later discovered it contained $1 million in cash. Now, we've covered stories like this in the past, but they keep popping up, so I'm going to ask you guys, if you had come across that, would you have kept the bag or turned it into the police like those people did? Ogie?
Well, I think I would turn it in, but I'd take my finder's fee, my 10% off the top.
Rhonda, what do you think?
I wish I would turn it in, but I would not. I'd give it to Sally Mae and take you all to dinner.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Keith?
She would have $1 million and
Yeah.
she would take us to dinner.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would cash it in and give her part of mine. Keith, what, would you keep it or?
No, I would turn in all $150.
That's right. We know how much Keith would turn in. Well, that's all the time we have. Come out and visit the garden. Oh, except for this, I want to mention this. Major League Baseball commissioner says when they finally go back to playing again, they're going to have some new rules that are sort of in conjunction with the pandemic guidelines. So when they start playing baseball again, there will be no spitting allowed. No spitting will be allowed, which means pretty soon they'll be able to play a 9-inning game in 15 minutes. So for all of it, you like that, Ogie? It's going to happen. All right, for all of us here on Triad Today, I'm Jim Longworth. We'll see you next time.